Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Bob Mendelsohn, and this is the Bob's Your Uncle podcast. Of course, that's the music of J.S. Bach, his Air on the G string. And this is Season 8, Episode 11. And today you're going to meet Israeli Saar Markovitch, who lives in Tel Aviv. We knew each other back in Sydney. His story is very personal, very touching.
Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Today in history, the 15th of July, 2026. But in 1099, during the First Crusade, Christian knights from Europe captured Jerusalem after 7 weeks of siege and began massacring the city's Muslim and Jewish populations. Nothing like Christian nationalism today, is it? In 1799, during Napoleon's campaign against Egypt, a French soldier discovered a black slab, discovering what would be called the Rosetta Stone, Rosetta near Alexandria, written in 3 languages. The artifact held the key to solving the riddle of hieroglyphics, a written language that had been dead for nearly 2,000 years. People are still trying to interpret writings from long ago. And in 1979, U.S. President Jimmy Carter spoke on live television to the country. Although the energy crisis and recession were the main topics, he believed that the U.S. was suffering from a deeper moral and spiritual crisis. He concluded that was the core of America's inability to hoist itself out of its economic troubles. Aren't you glad we solved that one long ago? And that's the historical marker of the week.
I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Saar Markovitch, it is such a joy to see you again. We haven't seen each other in years, but there you are somewhere in Israel. Where are you today?
I'm in Tel Aviv. I've moved to Tel Aviv. So yeah, the
And,
center, the tech hub of Israel.
and that
Uh,
is that what you are doing most of the time, working in technology?
so when we met, I used to teach Krav Maga and self-defense and fighting. I owned the gym I co-owned the gym in Bondi Junction, Sydney. And I went through a process of self-discovery, self-growth, and reconnecting to myself. And through that, I found that what really interests me is consciousness, empowerment, holistic therapy. And I moved back to Israel in pursuit of that, among other things. And that's actually the world I'm in today. So in lack of a better title, a holistic therapist, I do consciousness work with people, mindset coaching, and far from tech, but very needed in tech.
It
Yeah.
it's needed in everything, isn't it? When you say holistic, what are you referencing? How many different sides of holistic are there?
So holistic means a whole, right? And I hold the belief that we are co-creators of our reality, at the very least, if not direct creators of our reality. And as such, every aspect of our lives is in our hands, whether it's relationship, profession, health, mission, purpose. And what I do when I meet people is I try to see the areas in their lives that are not wanted by them, undesired, and try to understand why they are like that.
The Hebrew word chayim means life. To those watching or listening on the podcast, they say, yeah, I remember that from Fiddler on the Roof. To life, l'chaim. But chayim is an interesting word because it is a holistic word when you think about it. It is all my lives in my life.
Chaim is not just a life, it's lives.
Right. So it's my social life, it's my political life, it's my economic life, it's my mental life. So it's all these interconnecting lives that make my holistic life. I'm totally with you on that. And then it's not just individual because it is interconnecting with others. And you've been, I want to say, a master of getting people connecting to others in a community. When we lived in Sydney after 7 October, were you back in Israel at that time?
At the time, I remember when 7th of October happened, I myself was in a festival in Australia,
Oh my.
and we started to get news as I was in the festival. So the contrast of my experience and the news that came in of what happened in a festival, in a music festival in Israel, really hit me hard.
I bet.
And I think that was one of the first moments where I felt a little bit helpless. What can I do to help the people I love and the people I care about and my family and Israel with everything happening? And that process eventually gave me the strength and the desire to move back to Israel, to reconnect and connect deeper with my family, with my friends, see how I can help. But after 7th of October, I mostly was active in the Jewish community around Bondi and Sydney, trying to empower them. A lot of people I knew had trouble sleeping from fear, had trouble walking down the street just from the fear. Suddenly we were targeted. And I started teaching Krav Maga in a little bit of the synagogues and connecting and offering classes to certain people and certain groups, trying to empower them. So I did my share and was very active, but it never felt enough for me. And that really eventually gave me the courage. It's funny to say, but this event gave me the courage to move back to Israel, which I needed.
And to make a difference there. So there you were in Israel last Hanukkah, and he, and there I was back in Sydney, and our office just 2 miles away from Bondi Beach. And all of a sudden, then we start hearing the news about the Hanukkah massacre, and 15 of our mishpachas, 15 of our community really
Yeah.
dead in a heartbeat, and 30 more people, 40 more people shot. I knew several of the people. You might have known some of those who died.
Yeah,
What did that make you feel? There you are back in Israel, and you're reading and hearing and seeing the news about Bondi Beach. How did that go down in your heart and mind and soul?
Instantly, my worry was for the people I'm closest to, the chosen family I have in Bondi, my closest friends, and contacted all of them. And some of them were there, some of them just left as the terror event happened. And again, this feeling of helplessness, what can I do to help? But sometimes there's nothing you can do to help other than, focus on yourself and the life here. I offered as much as help as I could to whoever needed it in Sydney through maybe Zoom calls, coaching work that I can, just holding space. But it was quite a shock. And at the same time, for Jewish people around the world, and especially for Israeli people, there is always the sense of knowing that it's coming, because we don't get, since I remember by myself, there haven't been many years where we had real peace, a moment where we were not targeted. So there is the shock of the event, but at the same time, it's a sensation of knowing that this would have happened.
It draws that community together again, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, the Tehillim, the Psalms, is Esaena El unto the hills I lift up my eyes. Where does my help come from? And I think as they say, unto the hills I lift up my eyes. And I think, no, that's not where your help comes from. And that's exactly what the author came with. Where does my help come from? Does it come from governments? Does it come from money? Does it come from the strength of humanity? I wonder, is God trying to get our attention to look not to the hills, not to Canberra or Washington, D.C.? Are we looking to him? Is that too religious?
Well, according to Jewish Bible, we were made in his image. And in the work that I do today, that where I actually meet the divine quite on the daily basis, because I can really see the powers impacting people, I think that the first person we should look into is ourselves, because we have all of the powers within us. We are this boundless, unlimited soul, or however you want to call it. And instead of looking out for help, I think we should look in. We should look into why we need help. What is it in us that needs help? Is it safety? Is it a feeling of fear? And these days I advocate working with this need for help, working with these fears, seeing them as lessons, as teachers, and not just as something to solve, because some people really do need help. And sometimes we really do need an outside source to help protect us. And in the Bible, it appears as well. God sends armies and external powers to help people as well.
What's your plan for, I want to say 2026, then I should say 5787.
I've spent the past year really working on aligning myself, finding my purpose, finding my calling, understanding how I want to exert myself into the world and how I want to express myself through the world. And I'm just in the process of having all of these seeds that I planted start to grow. So 2026 for me is a year of really focusing on my, you can say, career, but for me it's purpose. That is the things I work, my clinic, I do one-on-one with people on consciousness work, on the communities I build, on the digital course I built that will allow me to sort of amplify my voice and hit waves of people outside of my usual reach. And also, like we said, this is the year for me for relationship. I've gotten the clarity for it, and now I've decided to invest my energy and intention into finding a partner that I can grow with and it will help amplify myself.
Um, do you see within the Jewish community segments that just don't seem to get along with other segments? And is it an embarrassment? Is it a bother? Is it something you think you can fix? I don't know.
You know, we have a joke in Israel and for Jewish people: two Jews, three opinions, right? And it's not that Israel is empty of that. We have so many opinions here and so much self-hate and so much anger towards each other. Israel has in a lack of a better word, a sickness that's hitting every other place in the world as well. It's not that
Hmm.
Israel is special. It is this separation from others that we all experience. And sadly, yeah, it's here as well. People can find any reason to hate the other, when in reality, especially now as I do this work, I understand that it's them hating themselves, directing it outside. Luckily for me, the circles I'm surrounded by and the people I'm surrounded by are full of heart, full of love, full of care, for everyone, whether it's other Jewish people, whether it's Palestinian people. The conversations we have are always about love, about fixing, about doing better. I remember your shop in Bondi Junction, which I loved. I always passed along it, and I just loved knowing that this place exists, a place that tries to bridge these worlds. But I really hope that things will change. I feel like there's a lot of darkness in the world, and all of the shit is coming out, as we say. But also I can see how the light is coming out. People are starting to awaken.
Yahavta l'reacha kamocha. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. If love wins, then we all win.
That is the essence of the Bible, right? That is the number one lesson of the Bible.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Saar, what a joy to see you again and to spend time just now on this Zoom call. I wish you God's great blessings as we next week is Tisha B'Av. We have all kinds of memories of troubles, but there is a lot that we have to be thankful for. And I'm thankful for our friendship over the years and trust that the Lord will be close to you as you continue to find purpose and depth and meaning.
Amen, Bob. Thank you. Pleasure to see you as well. Yeah, it's great. Can't wait to see you in Israel one day over coffee.
And we might have to have two. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Bob.
Must be leaving on a jet plane. Hey, what do you think about all that Saar had to say? Why don't you write me, Bob Mendo at AOL.com, or right here wherever you're listening to the podcast. Let me know your thoughts, won't you? And maybe you have some ideas about things as well. Hey, don't forget, you should be able to get on to therealbobm.com. That's my website, where you get all these podcasts and Blogger, and even my memoirs are on there, coming out chapter at a time. It's really been great. And lots more coming in this U.S. summer or Aussie winter. Every week we read from the number one bestseller of all time, the Bible, and today we've certainly heard several phrases right out of it. Leviticus 19:18, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Boy, don't get away from that one. Hey, wherever you are, when things seem bleak or uncertain, look up to God. He's in his heaven, and Bob's your uncle. Shalom from Florida.